The modern footballer is no longer just an athlete. He is a brand, a business, a walking billboard, and in many cases, a global corporation wrapped inside a human body. Once upon a time, careers were defined by trophies, loyalty, and raw performance on the pitch. But today, something has shifted, something powerful, something that has quietly taken over the game from the inside out. And that something is commercial value, because in 2026, talent alone is no longer enough. Performance still matters, but it's no longer the final decision maker. Now, a player's career trajectory is often shaped not just by what they do with the ball, but by how they sell themselves without it. Think about it. Why do some players with average statistics land massive contracts, while others with better numbers struggle to find top clubs? Why are certain players constantly in headlines, featured in global campaigns, and pushed into the spotlight even when their form dips? The answer is simple but uncomfortable. Brand power has become just as important as footballing ability, and clubs know it. Modern football clubs are no longer just sporting institutions. They are global entertainment businesses. They operate like media companies, constantly looking for ways to expand their reach, grow their fan base, and increase revenue streams. And in this ecosystem, players are not just assets for winning matches, they are assets for generating money. A player with millions of followers on social media can bring in shirt sales, sponsorship deals, and international attention overnight. He becomes a gateway to new markets, a bridge to global audiences, a marketing engine that operates 24/7 on far beyond the 90 minutes on the pitch. This is why commercial value now dictates decisions that once belonged purely to football logic. Transfers are no longer just about tactical fit, they are about marketability. Clubs analyze engagement rates, brand partnerships, and audience demographics with the same intensity they once reserved for scouting reports. In some cases, these factors carry even more weight. Imagine two players. One is statistically superior, better goals, better assists, better defensive contributions. The other is slightly less effective on the pitch, but has a massive global following, strong personal branding, and major endorsement deals. In today's game, the second player often wins because he doesn't just play football, he sells it, and this shift has completely redefined what it means to make it in football. Young players are growing up in a different world now. They are not just training to improve their skills, they are building their image. Social media presence is cultivated from teenage years. Personal logos are designed before their professional debut. Media training becomes as important as tactical training. The modern academy doesn't just produce footballers, it produces influencers. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it changes everything. Because when brand becomes a priority, performance can sometimes take a back seat. Not entirely, but enough to create imbalance, enough to influence decisions that affect careers, teams, and even the integrity of the sport itself. Managers now face a new kind of pressure. It's not just about picking the best 11, it's about managing personalities, brands, and commercial expectations. But dropping a high-profile player is no longer just a tactical decision, it can be a financial one. Benching a global superstar could impact shirt sales, sponsorship visibility, and even broadcasting numbers. It creates tension between sporting ambition and business strategy, and this is where the conflict truly begins, because football at its core is supposed to be about merit, about earning your place through performance, about proving yourself on the pitch. But when commercial value enters the equation, merit becomes negotiable. We've seen players maintain starting positions despite poor form. We've seen massive transfer fees driven more by marketing potential than footballing need. We've seen clubs prioritize global appeal over local identity, and slowly, quietly, the balance has shifted. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't just happening at the top level. It's happening everywhere. Even mid-tier players are now building personal brands. Even smaller clubs are thinking about marketability. The entire ecosystem of football is being reshaped by this new reality, because the game is no longer just competing on the pitch. It's competing for attention, and attention is currency. Social media has played a massive role in this transformation. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube have given players direct access to millions of fans. They no longer rely solely on clubs or media outlets to build their image. They control their own narrative. This power is unprecedented. A player can go viral overnight. A single moment, a single post, a single highlight clip can explode across the world and redefine perception. And perception, in modern football, is incredibly valuable because Because perception drives engagement, engagement drives revenue, and revenue drives decisions. This is why clubs are increasingly looking beyond traditional scouting metrics. They're not just asking, can he play? They're asking, can he sell? And once that question becomes part of the equation, everything changes. Because now, footballers are judged not only by their performances, but by their market impact, their personality, their story, their image, all become part of their value. This creates opportunities, but it also creates pressure, because maintaining a brand is not easy. It requires constant attention, constant activity, constant relevance. Players must balance their on-field responsibilities with off-field expectations. They must perform, promote, engage, and evolve, all at the same time, and not everyone can handle that. Some players thrive in this environment. They understand the game within the game. They build empires, expand their influence, and use their platform to maximize their career potential. But others struggle because the focus shifts, because distractions grow, because the line between athlete and celebrity becomes blurred. And when that line blurs too much, performance can suffer. We've seen careers derailed by off-field focus. We've seen players lose form while maintaining popularity. We've seen situations where brand value keeps a player relevant long after their peak performance has faded. This is the reality of modern football, but it also raises an important question. Is this sustainable? Can a sport built on competition and merit continue to thrive when commercial value plays such a dominant role? Or will this imbalance eventually create cracks in the system? Because at some point, fans begin to notice. Fans are not just consumers, they are observers. They see inconsistencies, they question decisions, they debate selections, and when they feel that performance is being overshadowed by marketing, it creates frustration, because football is emotional, it's passionate, it's deeply connected to identity and loyalty, and when that connection feels compromised, it changes the experience. But here's the twist. Fans themselves are part of this system, because engagement fuels the very dynamics they criticize. Every like, every share, plus every follow contributes to a player's commercial value. Every viral moment increases visibility. Every trending topic amplifies influence. In a way, fans are co-creators of this new football reality, and that makes the situation even more complex, because it's not just clubs and players driving this shift, it's the entire ecosystem. Media companies prioritize stories that generate clicks. Brands invest in personalities that attract attention. Platforms promote content that keeps users engaged. Everything is interconnected, and at the center of it all is the player. A player who must navigate this landscape carefully. A player who must balance performance with presence. A player who must understand that success is no longer defined by a single metric. It's defined by a combination of factors, some visible, some invisible. Goals and assists still matter, but so do followers and impressions. Trophies still matter, but so do endorsements and collaborations. This dual reality is the new normal, and it's changing the way careers are built. Players are making strategic decisions based on brand growth. They choose clubs that offer better exposure. They consider leagues that provide greater visibility. They align themselves with markets that maximize their reach. In some cases, these decisions come at the cost of sporting ambition, but from a business perspective, they make perfect sense, because a shorter peak can still generate long-term financial security if managed correctly, because visibility can open doors that performance alone cannot. This is why we're seeing unconventional career paths, moves that don't always align with traditional football logic, either transfers that seem surprising but make sense when viewed through a commercial lens. And this is where the future of football becomes both exciting and uncertain, because the line between sport and entertainment continues to blur, because the definition of success continues to evolve, because the game itself is changing. But perhaps the most important question is this: what does this mean for the next generation? What kind of players will this system produce? Will we see more complete athletes who understand both performance and branding? Or will we see a divide between those who excel on the pitch and those who dominate off it? Will the balance stabilize, or will it continue to shift? The answer is not simple, because this transformation is still ongoing, because football is adapting in real time, because the forces shaping this change are powerful, complex, and constantly evolving. But one thing is certain: the era where performance alone dictated a player's career is over. We are now in a new era, an era where brand and performance coexist, an era where commercial value influences decisions at every level, an era where the modern footballer must be more than just a player. He must be a brand, and in this era, the game will never be the same again.